I need to not excuse because they're online. I need to recognize that Councilmember Peterson and Councilmember Ratchford are both participating virtually with us this evening, and they will still vote virtually as well. So they're actually participating in our meeting. We'll turn the time over to Councilmember Roper for our opening ceremony.
If you'll all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful for this opportunity we have to be able to be in this public meeting and to practice the freedoms that are so precious to us in this country. We pray that we may have thy spirit with us as we make the decisions of this community, and that we will be able to represent our residents well. We pray for all those who serve in our community, our first responders, our city staff. Pray that they will be watched over and protected, and that their families may be comforted, and that they may be able to return to their homes in safety. We are grateful for this community, and we pray for our residents that they may be blessed with the things that they need to live a good quality of life. And these things we pray for in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tim. Council, we've got minutes to approve tonight from the May 27th work session, the May 27th closed session, and then the June 10th work session, June 24th work session, the June 24th policy session, the July 8th work session, and the July 8th policy session. Way to go, Kirsty. If you had a chance to review the minutes, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I only had one correction that Kirsty got me a copy of earlier today. The May 27th work session minutes listed my name as Dakota Thompson, so as much as I like to think Chris and I could Voltron into each other, we cannot.
Fine, we'll call you Worth.
It's better than Fanning.
But do we have a motion on the minutes?
So moved, with the corrections as stated.
A motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, they stand approved. Well, we have got a couple of really good items on the agenda tonight. And our first is public recognition of heroic actions of some Clearfield residents. And the city was contacted by Anita Martinez to recognize two Clearfield residents for their heroic actions to rescue her nephew. William Meyer and Lori Jo Owen Bunk raced to the scene when William heard cries for help. They communicated with 911, began CPR, and offered emotional support. After the fact, they continued to check in, offer help, brought meals, and showed Ms. Martinez what real community looks like. In Ms. Martinez's words, the experience reminded me of something we all need to hear more often. In a world that often feels too fast, too divided, and too disconnected, these moments matter. They remind us that humanity is still alive, that courage still lives on our streets, that Clearfield, though small, is strong, united, and full of extraordinary people who rise when it matters most. We would like to recognize these two people on behalf of myself and the City Council and all of Clearfield City for those actions taken and the follow-up involved. That says so much about our residents that care for each other, that would not only just be there and go to that extent to save a life, but then to continue to follow up and offer support and love to that people. If they are here, we would like to recognize William and Lori Jo. And is Anita here as well? I'll bring you up and. If I can have you come up, we'll just have you do this so that our photographer can take pictures as well. Anita, is there anything you'd like to say?
I just, again, want to thank these guys. We had just lost my nephew's sister a few weeks prior to this incident happening, so to lose another one, it was just unbearable to think of. And these guys, I mean, he didn't hesitate to get him out of the water. She didn't hesitate to do CPR. I was just falling apart, and they have been amazing. So from our whole family, we love you guys. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it.
Outstanding. William, we would like to give you this certificate. This is in recognition of heroic actions in aid of a fellow resident of Clearfield City. We'd like to present you that, and with our city council. As well for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Let's get you both in here if you want to show your certificate. I don't want to be.
A certificate. Who cares? Get a picture with the mayor.
Cool moment number one out of the way. Thank you, guys. You don't have to leave. I mean, you're welcome to stick around through the rest of this wonderful meeting, but you don't have to. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing to receive public comment on the adoption of an update to the Clearfield City General Plan. And we're going to turn the time over to Tyson and Susie, or whichever one of you wants to come up, or both of you want to come up to give moral support. That's okay too.
So Tyson will bring the presentation up on his laptop so that we can share it online with the council members that are participating virtually. I'm Susie Petheram with FFKR and have been working with Clearfield for the past couple of years on updating the general plan. So we're excited to be at this moment. It's been a great process, lots of great input from the community, city staff, the Planning Commission, and the City Council along the way. And feel like we have a great plan update for Clearfield that will guide you through the next 5 to 10 years. So, all right, we'll have Tyson give a little introduction, and then I'll go through just an overview of the general plan structure, conclude with some key points about how the plan can be used, and then we can open it up for the public hearing.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Just to give some background on this general plan process. It's been a long time, so we're very happy to be here to this point, ready to be heard by the council for potential adoption. When I started working for the city 4 years ago, we were already in process, and there was a draft of a plan that was being looked at. Through that review, the city had to pivot and then went on hiatus and eventually hired FFKR in 2023 to pick back up with the general plan update. So when Susie was brought on with FFKR, she reviewed the policies that were already in process to select which ones should remain, components of that plan that could be refined and updated, and then came up with a plan to engage the community. So the first part of engaging the community was done through a community survey, where we got really good feedback from Clearfield City residents. And with that, the Planning Commission, the City Council, city staff, and our consultant were able to review the results of the survey, and from those results pull key themes and priorities that would be implemented into the general plan. After that, policy statements and focus initiatives were drafted, and that's where we were able to have small group work sessions with the Planning Commission and the City Council to have some good discussion on potential policy statements and really the focus of the plan. After that, we focused on the future land use map and the land use categories. Again, we engaged the Planning Commission and the City Council together in a work session and pulled out maps, and were able to really have a good work session detailing what potential areas could be for the different future land use categories. So with all of that discussion, a draft was created, which went to the Planning Commission. First as a work session where we had, again, good discussion with the Planning Commission on the draft. Really got some good feedback. We also sent out the document for them to provide comments so that we could go through and address the comments. So then with that feedback from the Planning Commission, the draft was updated and it went back to the Planning Commission for a public hearing. On May 21st, 2025 is when the Planning Commission had the public hearing for the general plan, and they forwarded a recommendation of approval to the City Council for the update to provide a comprehensive and long-range plan for the present and future needs of the community, an advisory guide for land use decisions, and to provide the required general plan elements as set forth in Utah State Code. So after the Planning Commission recommendation, the document went to the City Council on June 10th, 2025 for a discussion. Again, got really good feedback and discussion from the City Council. And from that discussion, we were able to, again, update the draft. And those updates were based on the discussions that we had with the council. Nothing substantial really changed. The overall plan is the same, but there are some additional strategies that were identified as priorities in the discussion with the City Council, and then also just a general streamlining of the plan, the document. Now it's less pages. Where it was about 100 pages, it's gone down to about 70 pages now. There is discussion about the aesthetics of the plan and the pictures, and those have been updated, and now it's a different format, where before it was a 2-page format, like you're looking through a booklet. Now it's just a single page format, which should be good for ease of use for all the people that will be using it, as it will principally be viewed online. With that, I'm going to turn the time over to Susie, and she will go through the structure of the plan, and we'll go to that point.
Thanks, Tyson. So in that process, something that was very important to capture are the key themes and priorities of what the Clearfield community values. So that's the residents, the business owners, property owners, as well as the city appointed and elected officials. So out of the process, there were 11 key themes and priorities that were identified. Everything from ensuring that there's amenities and centers with a sense of place, all the way up to being good stewards of the built environment and natural environment, considering multimodal transportation with infrastructure, and then thinking about the standards and regulations that might need to be updated to implement the vision of the plan, and then concluding, importantly, with continuing that trend of being an innovative city and looking for the general plan to be a mechanism for pursuing funding to implement the vision and continue the great work that Clearfield's been doing over the past decade and more. So the general plan is an advisory guide for making decisions regarding the progress and growth of the city. So it, in and of itself, is not regulatory, but it's used to make those decisions about regulations and policies for the city and its growth and progress. The structure is set up into two different parts. The idea behind this is that part one, which captures the big picture, the context of Clearfield, how it's changed and evolved over the years, and then that overall vision, so that if somebody just wanted to pick up the general plan and get a good sense of what the vision and priorities are for the city, they would be able to find that in part one. The community vision, there is a vision statement that talks about having a blend of residential neighborhoods, mixed-use centers, employment hubs, and community spaces, and then striving to essentially just facilitate a high quality of life for a range of individuals, households, and families. The vision is also captured in 4 different initiatives that reflect the direction Clearfield has been going and the direction it wants to go in the future. So those 4 initiatives are being focused and centered and balanced with the growth that Clearfield is supporting and pursuing, being a connected community both physically and digitally, and as a community with each other in a social and cultural standpoint. The 3rd initiative, just supporting community well-being and quality of life, whether that's with parks and open space or just having access to goods and services nearby and being able to do so in a multimodal fashion. And then the 4th initiative, being a resilient city. So just thinking in the future, how can the city be proactive about setting itself up to potentially rebound from unknown events in the future, both environmentally and economically for the city as a whole. So the relationship between the vision initiatives and then part 2, which is the policy guide, those are captured in more detail in the policies and recommendations and strategies of the policy guide. So the vision initiatives provide sort of that big picture framework, but each of them is linked to the different elements of the plan. So community well-being and quality of life, that could be parks and open space as well as transportation. And there's a lot of overlap, and those connections are shown in the general plan. The part 2 of the general plan is a little bit more of the wordy section of the plan. This is the section that will be used on a more day-to-day basis by city staff, the Planning Commission, and the City Council. It has all of those required elements of the general plan as dictated by state code, and it also contains the land use and city form section, which includes the map and all of the categories. The structure of the policy guide for each of these 6 elements follows the same structure so that it's easy to see how they all correlate to each other and those vision initiatives. So each of the elements has an overall goal, 3 to 5 objectives usually, for those things that the city wants to achieve, identifies key terms related to that particular element, trying to break down any planning jargon or just be informative for people that might not be familiar with the acronyms or entities that we are on a day-to-day basis as planners. The policies and strategies are things that the city could consider for trying to achieve those goals and objectives, and then the relevant vision initiatives. So one of the things to note is that the policies and strategies reflect that framework of potential options for helping Clearfield meet the objectives and overall goals of the general plan. So it's not binding the city to implementing any of those specifically, but it gives the city an idea of maybe what they want to prioritize on an annual basis or with other entities and plans, such as capital improvements plans, things like that. Another thing to note is that a newer requirement by state is to have a water use and preservation element. That needs to be integrated into the general plan by the end of this year. So that's something that we are actively working on with the city staff and the regional water entities. But we felt like it was good timing to adopt the general plan as is and have this be a related element, but it might be a standalone document, which is something that is common with general plans where there's some specifics like moderate income housing as well is its own plan document. So Clearfield did pursue a grant and was awarded that grant to get funding to allow us to continue to work with them on developing that. And we anticipate coming to the Planning Commission and City Council this fall. So with the land use and city forum, this element also has an overall goal, but it discusses those areas of stability in the city and areas of transition. A lot of Clearfield City is stable residential neighborhoods, and a lot of those are expected to stay pretty consistent. That doesn't mean there won't be any change, but the change will be like fairly minor in nature, so small scale change or just improvement of infrastructure or amenities as the city has funding or opportunities to do so. The areas of transition, some of those are already identified in the downtown Clearfield and the form-based code. They're under transition right now. There's development happening by Clearfield Station. Those areas will continue to transition. And there's new areas that might have uses in the future that are captured in that future land use map. One example that we discussed at the work session in June was the Job Corps Center and how that fits into Freeport Center. So as an existing use, it can continue, but in the future, if something were to change, that future land use map captures what the city envisions could happen at that site. And that could be more of a creative industry, a flex industry type of use. And so that's captured in the future land use map. There's different types and overlays. They're split into three overarching categories. Housing and neighborhoods is the first one, and there's three base categories. Neighborhood residential, which captures the majority of the city, as you can see in that yellow color on the map. And then transitional residential, areas that can have a little bit of change, but still blend in well with adjacent neighborhoods. And then the urban residential, which is a little bit more intense, some of that higher density housing, especially where it's near to centers. And these are also areas that are outside of that mixed use component of downtown and Clearfield Station. We do have two overlays that the city can consider for making different recommendations. One of those is the historic neighborhood overlay that covers a lot of the older housing that's east of State and Main Street. Some of those World War II era subdivisions. There's ways that the city can develop guidelines for historic areas and support the preservation of the urban form and the look and feel of those neighborhoods. The conservation overlay are areas that might be developed in more of a clustered fashion, either to preserve open space or working agriculture, but still blend in with the surrounding neighborhoods. The next category is centers, and there's 8 different categories. This covers a lot of Clearfield because Clearfield does have such a huge employment anchor in the community and the region. So we have downtown Clearfield, which has a lot of different mixed use categories that are captured in the form-based code. The mixed use areas around Clearfield Station, as well as over on the east side of I-15. And then we have, of course, the manufacturing and industrial and flex industrial and manufacturing, which covers the majority of Freeport Center, the 2 associated with the military, Hill Air Force Base, and then the Falcon Hill Research Park. Then we have that general commercial, which is primarily that corridor style of commercial that lines those bigger streets and major arterials in Clearfield that are outside of that mixed-use component. There's also a new category that's a neighborhood node, and this is something that's intended to provide a little bit more flexibility for more of a horizontal mixed use. So it could be commercial, that's neighborhood in scale. There might be residential that's associated with it, but they need to be developed in connection with each other so that residential would not be able to go in and develop at these neighborhood node corners without a commercial component. The last category is the community spaces. So this is everything from necessary infrastructure to those active and passive green spaces. So we have open spaces and parks, community and civic, utilities and infrastructure, and then an overlay for potential greenway that primarily follows that power corridor and just as an opportunity to collaborate with Rocky Mountain Power and other entities to see if there's ways to use that in a greenway fashion. So using the plan, as we mentioned, it is an advisory guide and it's a framework for the city when making decision. There's different groups that can use the plan, starting off with, of course, city staff and officials. So staff and officials use the plan to guide their decisions and make or update policies and regulations. It can also help to prioritize budget-related decisions on capital improvements and guide the evaluation and review of development proposals to see how they line up with the vision of the general plan. Residents can also use the plan just to familiarize themselves on what's expected to happen in their community and how that relates to what's happening in their neighborhood, as well as the broader Wasatch Front region. Business and property owners can use the plan to understand the direction the city's going, how that might impact the choices they have regarding their property, business, or development potential. The general plan also supports decisions related to local and regional issues and opportunities, and it provides a framework for coordination and collaboration with different entities and pursuit of potential funding, whether it's grants or other sources of funding. And this could be everything from affordable housing to parks, trails, open spaces, arts and culture, or economic development initiatives and innovation and transportation and regional growth. It also provides those connections to city policies. So they're generally implemented through one or a combination of specific programs or the zoning ordinance, subdivision ordinance, the capital improvements plan, and also providing that calibration between future land use and zoning decisions. So for each of those categories that we reviewed in the future land use, the plan provides recommendations of corresponding zones. So if somebody was come in and request a zone change, the city would be able to refer to the general plan to see if that's in alignment. So with that, we want to open it up for any questions or discussion by the council, and then open it up for public comment as part of the public hearing.
Very good. Well, thank you, guys. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. I don't have any forms for anybody to speak in regards to this, but was there anybody here to speak in regards to the general plan?
So I think you're here for the open comment period, which would be after this public hearing.
It'll be right after this one. So. Okay, seeing no public comment, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That brings us to our open comment period. And again, I don't have any forms, but if you're here to speak in regards to the water, you can come up now, and or we can bring the microphone to you if that's.
Are there other people ahead of me? There was quite a list on the.
You are the only person that has said that they're here to speak, so.
Okay. Well, hello, my name is Gloria White. It's good to see all the council members here. I'm concerned about our use of water. on my street, I live on 1000 East at the Country Oaks Apartments. And on that street, there is a sign that says the weight limit is 16,000 pounds. And I talked to the gentleman who was there, again, repairing the road, because the big trucks are actually crushing the water pipes and causing a lot of repairs. Now, the gentleman told me that they were looking for a couple of $1 million to redo the piping on that street. And I'm thinking, how many dollars are we spending repairing this road because these big 18-wheelers, which weigh 80,000 pounds, are traveling on this road? It's a shortcut for them from the freeway to the yard that's over there where they have all the trucks. You know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a real concern to me that we're constantly without water. The other day I was talking to the manager there at the Holiday Oil, and it's a real big inconvenience for them. Every time the pipe breaks, they're out of water. No bathrooms, no water to make frazzles, no water for people to wash their hands, no water for the ice machine. It's just a bad situation. So it's not good for their business. And so I asked her if she wanted to come with me tonight, and she said, I'm going on vacation. It's like, well, have a great time. I said, well, I'm going. So that's why I'm here. And another thing I wanted to talk about is the use of sprinklers, because our water is so precious, and we just don't have money or water to waste, right? So the first thing was the road. The second thing is the use of people using the sprinklers. Now, we have a U.S. lawn service that's maintaining our lawn at our apartment building. They have set the sprinklers, and I went to the office and I told Donna, the lady that works in the office, I said, the sprinklers have been on every night for 7 days. Oh, it's on a timer. Oh, okay, but it's been on 7 days in a row. And then just kept being on every night. It's been on 16 days in a row. And the lawn has all kinds of brown spots in it. So instead of them treating for the pests in the grass, they have chose to water them. I don't know what that reasoning is. I also asked him and talked to him about when we had the warning about the water being low at the well was broke. And I said, you can get emergency alerts so you could turn the sprinklers off. He goes, I have so many cities, I'm like, okay, so you're one of those irresponsible business owners and really don't care about the community you're working in. That's just not right. He's the boss of his company. I'm not the boss of his company. But I do have a voice, and I'm here tonight to say, I think it's ridiculous that he has the sprinklers on for 16 days in a row. The water is actually running off the grass, down the street, and into the gutter. We don't have water to waste, people. The other thing I want to talk about is the water over at the Clearfield Station. I walk my dog over there quite a bit, and I've seen quite a few times that the water pipes have been broke, and the water's just being wasted. Gallons upon gallons upon gallons. And so I know that the city still doesn't have control of that, but the people that do, the developer, he needs to talk to his landscape man. He needs to go out there and turn the sprinklers on, and when they're on, he needs to go check out everywhere that it's leaking. And there's also some of those hoses for the water that it travels through that are sticking up out of the rocks. Easy pickings for somebody to come up and just pull the thing apart and create like a garden hose, where it wouldn't be that much water coming out of there if it was, hooked correctly. But so they need to look at that, and they need to go over there and get all those water leaks fixed.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you bringing those things to our attention.
Because they said it would take millions of dollars to fix the water pipes on that road and then to pave it again. They paved that road 3 times since I've lived there. I've been there 16 years. And it's kind of crazy because those big trucks are just tearing it up. So I'd like to request that you put weight limit signs on the street at the top and at the bottom of 1000 where the truckers are using that for a cut through. Because they can go on Main Street and over, and they don't have to tear up our road.
Sure.
So those signs that are there, they're about a block and a half away from Antelope. And I thought, well, that's not going to do any good. So if you do put signs up, please put them at the ends of the street so that the truckers will know not to, and maybe you could even call the yard and say, we're blocking this off now from your weighted truck. So, so if we could just stop repairing the road, maybe we would have a lot more money to put all the new pipes in.
Amen. Well, thank you.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
You're
We've got
welcome.
our city
Thank
manager
you.
here. He's taking notes all over the place, so we will look into those things. I appreciate you bringing them to our attention. Okay, if there's no other public comment, I don't see any. I'm going to turn the time over to Councilmember Worth to hit this next item. This is the other really cool item on our agenda.
It really is, and are you throwing me the baton to present the
I
proclamation?
am going to go ahead and let you actually present the proclamation. I'm going to pass it down to you and give us some background and introduce our guest here that's here.
Yes, absolutely. So this proclamation was submitted to us by Cheyenne Durant, who is the granddaughter of Barbara Bloomfield, who their whole family have been staunch supporters of city events, but particularly parks and the things we put on for our residents. And over the year and a half that I've been doing this and interacting with them, I've been really inspired by Cheyenne's willingness not only just to show up, but to really make a difference in those events and really put such an effort to make them bigger than I think we ever dreamed some of them could be. You guys will remember our skate park event when we reopened that a couple of months ago. The work that they put in to make that happen was substantial and it was significant. And you saw the joy and elation in the skaters that came out and the vendors and the public. So what she had asked me to do is that we recognize the month of July as Disability Pride Month. And following those remarks and my sincere respect for Cheyenne, I will read that verbatim, and I believe she's prepared some remarks herself, and then we'll give the time to her. Okay, so proclamation celebrating Disability Pride Month, July 2025. Whereas Disability Pride Month is a time to celebrate the unique strengths, stories, and contributions of people with disabilities in our community and across the nation. And whereas every person, regardless of ability, deserves to live with dignity, be seen for who they are, and have full access to the opportunities and experiences that make life meaningful. And whereas Disability Pride Month commemorates the signing of the Americans with Disabilities Act on July 26, 1990, a landmark moment in our country's pursuit of equity, inclusion, and human rights for all. And whereas individuals with disabilities are artists, leaders, students, workers, neighbors, and friends, an irreplaceable part of the fabric that makes Clearfield City a vibrant and caring community. And whereas this month is a chance for all of us to celebrate the pride and resilience of the disability community, to raise awareness, challenge outdated assumptions, and commit to building a more accessible and welcoming city for everyone. And whereas Clearfield City is proud to stand with people of all abilities and to continue working toward a future where everyone feels seen, supported, and valued, now therefore it be resolved that the Clearfield City Council hereby proclaims the month of July 2025 as Disability Pride Month in Clearfield City, and encourages all residents to join in celebrating the diverse contributions of people with disabilities, uplifting their voices, and working together to create a community where everyone belongs.
So Disability Pride Month is actually a nationally celebrated event. So thank you so much for your time and effort, and thank you for that comment on being courageous, because that is definitely part of it. Tonight, I'm here to speak to you guys, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. My name's Cheyenne Durant. You may have seen me around the city. I do a lot. I get dragged to a lot of things, happily, but we have a good time. Throughout my day job, I have the great honor to support team members through our employee resource group that touts being a disability, ability, and wellness network. This helps us create spaces for understanding and support in our workplace. I'm deeply passionate about disability rights, inclusion, and visibility, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you tonight. I know that life presents absolute and very unique challenges, but I also know with certainty that every single person possesses incredible strengths and unique perspectives. I wholeheartedly believe in everyone's inherent ability to make, and no matter their circumstances, to make a powerful and meaningful impact on the world around them. These are wonderful gifts that our community has, and by celebrating them, we take that time and we really make a community that grows stronger together. This Disability Pride Month, which is celebrated nationally every July, as Dakota said, is not just about acknowledging the disability community. It's about celebrating it. It's about shifting the narrative from one of limitation to one of pride, one of resilience, and one of contribution. It's about saying loudly and clearly, you are seen, you are valued, and you are belong. By supporting this proclamation that recognizes July as Disability Pride Month here in our great city, we're not only taking meaningful steps to fostering inclusion, we're doing it in policy and we're doing it in spirit. And we are showing our commitment to celebrating the diversity of the human experience and making a space for every single person to thrive. By doing this, we're raising more than just awareness. We cultivate empathy, we inspire action, and we affirm that disability is a natural and beautiful part of the human story, not something to be hidden, but something to be proud of. For me personally, my greatest hope is to see a world where every individual feels not just seen and supported, but truly empowered to reach their fullest potential, here in our city, our schools, our workplaces, and all the spaces that we share. I respectfully urge you to consider and approve the proclamation to proclaim July as Disability Pride Month. Let's lead with compassion. Let's lead with pride. Let us celebrate everyone's unique and enriched story, and let us all build a community where everyone grows stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Thank you, Dakota. In there is, in our description online, is the description of the flag itself and its colors. Are you okay if I read that?
Absolutely, and then
You
I'll
have
give you the honor of.
You actually have, if you want to pull it out and at least show us while I describe it, then we can do that.
I'll even stand and do a demonstration.
There you go.
And Cheyenne, after we vote on this, I'd like to present this to you on behalf of myself and the City Council and the Mayor.
So the red on there is for physical disabilities. The gold is for neurodiversity. The white is for invisible and undiagnosed disabilities. The blue is for psychiatric disabilities. The green is for sensory disabilities. And the charcoal gray background commemorates and mourns disabled people who have died due to lobbyism, violence, negligence, suicide, rebellion, illness, and eugenics. The gray background also represents rage and protest against the mistreatment of the disabled community. So with that, Dakota, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I will emphatically make the motion as I pull up the verbatim.
Written in there, I don't think. So.
Okay. Well, I approve to proclaim July 2025 Disability Pride Month and authorize your signature to any necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Mayor, would you do a voice vote?
Oh, we did, it's a proclamation.
Well, no, because it's,
Oh, 'cause
we have two members online. It
Okay.
helps.
Councilmember Roper?
Aye.
Councilmember Worth?
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson?
I'll just say before I say aye, as someone who's functionally disabled, I do appreciate this deeply. So aye.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Etchery?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous.
Beautiful. Well, I will bring this down to you. And if you wouldn't mind joining us for a photo, I think that would be beautiful. And anybody who here who would like to be part of that as well, I'd urge you to join us as well.
It's an active meeting.
And then I'd like to invite anybody who recognizes themselves as disabled or a part of any of these communities to come and take a picture with us.
Come join in.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One last one. Let me get a little bit higher. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Good job.
All right, well, Spencer plugs that back in there. The next item on our agenda is to consider approval of ordinance 2025-17, adopting the 2025 updated Clearfield City General Plan. Council, we still have our folks here to answer any questions. Are there any questions in regards to this updated general plan?
So my only question is if I remember correctly, December 31st, or December, I can't remember the date, it moves so fast. December, I'm just going to say December, is when we're supposed to have this updated aspect of the water integrated into this document. Now, if that's the case, well, then will this need an amendment, or would that be a standalone document?
Great question. Yeah, the deadline is December 31st of this year. That's when we have to have the water element adopted by, and it will come before the Planning Commission and the City Council as a general plan amendment.
Okay.
Well, we don't, at this point, we don't take comments coming from inside. Just, not to be rude. Don't want that to come across wrong. We're happy to answer that after the meeting.
Your Honor,
Yes.
just a comment and then just one point of clarification on it. First of all, to Tyson and Susie, I appreciate how much work has been done on this over the last few years, and especially in this last month with just this final last little bit of revision. I appreciate that, and as I am coming back from everything in the last few weeks, it's been great to get caught up and to see those changes. So I just am genuinely appreciative of being able to see where we're at and the steps on that. There was just one little tweak I would love to suggest. And it would just be so that it's consistent with everything else that's on that page. It was on page 32. And there's a list of items of just things to consider in that particular section. And it was it was page 32 of the PDF, and it was CC6. And it was talking about establishing digital walking tours was the specific item. If we could I would suggest that one just be consider rather than, something that we're, saying right there that we prefer to queue up. I think it's more consistent with the tone of the rest of that section of just things that we can consider down the road, but not necessarily to prioritize that one status-wise. So just that one amendment to that.
Okay, we can make that change, correct? Okay.
And with that, if there's no other discussion, I'd move to approve the general plan. I apologize, I don't have the exact wording that I can read right this while I'm on the Teams, but I would move to approve that with that one little change right there and authorize your signature to any necessary documents.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Ratchford?
Aye.
Councilmember Worth?
Aye.
Councilmember Roper?
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson?
I'm going to abstain until I see the water portion of this. Not that this hasn't been a great document in some regards, and I will say that I'm the one who pushed the green space aspects, and I love that aspect, but I just don't want, for me personally, I don't want to approve until I see that integration and see how we would deal with the prevailing densities that would be added within some of this suggestion of growth. So I'm just going to abstain for right now.
Well, when we, and just to clarify, we won't take another vote on this.
Understood. And while I can understand that my abstain would, it's not like it's going to change anything. That's why I'm abstaining, because it's like more so, I'm not going to necessarily impede this, but on a personal level, I would just like to see what integration of water is going to come into this. And then when we vote for that, if I feel comfortable, while my abstain would still stand, I just really feel like I need to put that there first before we get everything aspects of growth together. So I'll just abstain.
Okay, that is, it passes with a 4 and 1 abstention. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that brings us to item number 5 on the agenda, which is to consider approval of Resolution 2025 R-10, supporting the America 250 Utah, recognizing and approving the Clearfield City Utah 250 Community Committee. I'm just going to go ahead and read the resolution to just make my life easier. Whereas Governor Spencer J. Cox and the Utah State Legislature created the America 250 Utah Commission, also known as America 250 Utah, whereas the mission of America 250 Utah is to commemorate and celebrate, reflect on our nation's past, build community, and look forward to the future by educating, engaging, and uniting Utahns and visitors to our state. Whereas America 250 Utah is seeking partnerships with counties and municipalities to further its mission, whereas this partnership will be formed by creating a local committee called the Clearfield City Utah 250 Community Committee. And whereas the Clearfield City Utah 250 Community Committee, got to come up with an acronym for that, will focus on important events, people, and places within Clearfield City to commemorate and celebrate Clearfield City's role in America's 250th anniversary. And whereas local projects will enhance tourism, community building, and economic development opportunities, now therefore be it resolved that Clearfield City Council hereby recognizes the Clearfield City Utah 250 Community Committee as its official committee, will partner with America 250 Utah, will support signature programs of the America 250 Commission, and will support the Clearfield City Utah 250 Community Committee in local efforts to educate, engage, and unify Utahns and our visitors in Clearfield City.
Beautiful. Unless there's any discussion, I'll move to approve 2025 R-10, supporting America 250 Utah and recognizing and approving of the Clearfield City Utah 250 Community Committee, and authorize your signature to any necessary documents.
Second. Well,
Second.
Tim, he beat me. Whoa, never mind.
We have a motion and now a couple of seconds.
Usually people are very quick on it, so.
I know it. Councilmember Worth?
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson?
Aye.
Councilmember Roper? Aye. Councilmember Ratchford?
Aye.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Okay, that is unanimous. As a note, that also allows us now to apply for a grant with the state of Utah, America's 250 Utah Committee, to join with us and help us fund, even on a small portion, an activity or committee during that America 250 celebration. So that brings us to our communication items. Just a couple of notes. I spent last week with the National League of Cities and had the opportunity to see and learn some great things of what has been done back east in Columbus and in specifically Athens. And ask me offline, and I'll tell you a couple of those that I just thought were really cool that we ought to take a look at. Also, Hill Air Force Base held our community liaison luncheon, I think they called it, which was a follow-up specifically to Project One, and kind of bringing us up to speed on where things sit with Project One and the other efforts by the base. One of the things that they did bring out really probably goes more to Chandra than anybody else, and that's that they want to volunteer. And they have a portal that they're creating to actually let their airmen volunteer, where we can almost kind of like the Just Serve, put some projects on there and say, we'd love to have you come be a part of this and help us out. So great opportunity. So let me just get down to committee assignments then. and committee reports. Councilmember Worth, mosquito abatement.
Nothing to report from me.
Councilmember Roper, fire.
Trying to think. What we talked about.
It was short, I know that.
It was a very short meeting. Yeah, it was great. So nothing to report tonight.
Okay.
Thanks for letting Open Doors come tonight.
Councilmember Peterson, anything from Wasatch Integrated? I know you're, I don't know if you're participating right now with them.
Wasatch Integrated kind of takes the month of July as a bi-month for their meeting, so nothing to report there.
Thank you. Councilmember Ratchford, anything else from the fire district that maybe Councilmember Worth was not paying attention to?
No worries. They announced their open house, so it's going to be September 30th and on Fire Station 41, and then I think October 1st it's going to be Station 42. Is that correct, Tim? Do you remember those dates?
I believe you're correct.
Okay. Anything else to report?
And then the, not the fire district, but the Blue Star families, I got to partake in an event in Layton area on the 11th of July. And it was a really, really interesting organization. It actually brings up awareness for the military spouses and any individual that needs assistance or has a night for the family just to get out and kind of watch a movie and eat a light snack. So that was a great event. So I'll post some more on my Facebook once I know the dates.
Very good. Thank you. And Councilmember Thompson, anything from the sewer district?
Nothing to report.
Okay. That brings us to the end of this meeting. We need staff reports. JJ?
Yeah, real quick. My kudos to Tyson and Susie and support from Stacy Spencer and Brad, no longer here at Clearfield, but years worth of work put into that general plan. So that is great to have now in place. Thank you so much for your work on that. Also, City Council is aware that we are about to press the go button on the transition to .gov domain. So that is happening this week. You shouldn't see any glitches. But if you do, let Spencer know. And our current emails, the .org, will continue for a year. So there shouldn't be any issues there. But if you are registered on any website or service with that address, you'll need to switch that over as you go. Thursday is a holiday, Happy Pioneer Day, so our offices will be closed. And if you haven't seen your email already, we will not be having dinner with our retreat next week. So my apologies for the back and forth on that.
No worries. Nancy?
Just our schedule, of course, we have the retreat next week on the 1st, and we're planning on a work session on August 5th. The primary election is August 13th. We got that day right? 12th. Sorry, it didn't sound right when I said it. So we're not planning on a meeting. You can gather here after 8 if you want to see the results. We'll do that on the second floor. Right now, there's no meeting for August 19th. That could obviously change. We're early into the planning for that. And then we have our Truth and Taxation hearing on August 26th, as well as our budget adoption and a few other items scheduled for that evening, too. So.
Okay. Any other staff reports? Okay, just a note that I'll be out of town the 30th and 31st, coming back in time for for our budget retreat. I'm going to come home, go to the retreat, turn around and go back to DC. So.
I'll be out of town this next week, but I'll be back for the retreat.
Okay.
I will be out of town for our Truth and Taxation hearing, but I will attend virtually.
Very good. Okay. After the meeting. Need a motion to enter. We're going to hold the last item of our work session in here so that we don't have to switch Zoom accounts again and have these guys log back in and back off since we've only got one item. So I need a motion to adjourn from this meeting and reconvene in our work session.
So moved.
We have like three movements. So just pick and choose. All in favor?
I actually didn't say anything.
I didn't hear a second.
That's what I said.
Aye.
There were three motions. We'll take one of those as a second.
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay.